Colonel Diane Schroer, is that right? Got that right? Okay, Colonel. Served for 25 years in the Army Special Forces as a key strategist on Homeland Security. After entering the Army, Colonel Schroer completed Ranger and Airborne School and eventually rose to the position of Senior Assessment Director. The Colonel is an honors graduate of the U.S. Army Special Forces Qualification Course and holds an undergraduate degree from Northern Illinois University. Colonel, welcome and thank you for your service to our country.
Mr. Chairman and committee members, thank you for the opportunity to appear and testify here today. My name is Diane Schroer, Colonel, U.S. Army retired, and I am a transgender woman. I grew up in Chicago as David Schroer with two older brothers in the most normal of loving families. I entered the U.S. Army through ROTC as a second lieutenant immediately following graduation from Northern Illinois University in 1978. I completed Ranger and Airborne School, and in 1987 I was an honor graduate of the U.S. Army Special Forces Qualification Course. I served 16 years in Special Forces, including tours as a detachment commander, company commander, and battalion commander, accumulating 450 parachute jumps. I participated in combat operations in Panama and Haiti, as well as operational missions in the Middle East, Central America, Africa, and Europe. Additionally, I initiated humanitarian demining operations in most of Southern Africa. At U.S. Special Operations Command, I orchestrated the Program Objective Memorandum, or POM, reviewing 5,000 program lines covering all aspects of special operations for 4 years. I knew every unit, piece of equipment, operation, exercise, development program, and construction project, where every dollar was supposed to be spent and where it actually was spent. Following 9/11, I was selected to organize and direct a classified 120-person interagency organization responsible for all Department of Defense operations against the country's most significant terrorist threats and all long-term planning for the global war on terrorism. After almost 2 years of successful operations, with 25 years in the Army, 12 of those in command positions, I retired in January 2004. Cumulatively, the U.S. government had spent 30 years and several $1 million educating me and perfecting my experience in the fields of insurgency and counterterrorism. I currently run a small independent consulting company that has done work for the Department of Homeland Security, the U.S. Coast Guard, the National Guard, and the Federal Bureau of Investigation, focused on Homeland Security and maritime high-risk counterterrorism operations. I possess a top-secret, special compartmented information-capable security clearance, which was updated without issue in July of 2007. I am here today because in fall 2004, I applied and interviewed for the position of Specialist in Terrorism and International Crime with the Congressional Research Service of the Library of Congress. In December, I was told I had been selected for the position, and after some rapid salary negotiations, I accepted the job. At the time I applied for the position, I was in the process of my gender transition from Dave to Diane, although still legally David, and therefore applied as David. When I was offered the job at CRS in December 2004, I felt it would cause less confusion all around if I simply started work as Diane. So I invited my future supervisor to lunch so I could tell her about my plans and help her ensure everything went smoothly. I met my future supervisor at her office, and she introduced me to several new colleagues. At lunch, she spoke at length on my new responsibilities involving preparing, publishing, and informing members about the critical issues surrounding terrorism and homeland security. Midway through lunch, I mentioned a personal item that I wished to discuss. I asked her if she knew what it meant to be transgender. I explained that I had a female gender identity and was going to be living full-time as a female. My intent was to start when I commenced work at CRS. I knew that whether I was David or Diane, I would provide a wealth of background knowledge and superb research support to the Congress. I had truly felt that my future supervisor at CRS would feel the same way. Yet as we parted company following lunch, she mentioned that I had given her a lot to think about. The following day, she called and said that after a long and sleepless night, she decided I was not a good fit for the library. In 24 hours, I had gone from a welcome addition to the staff to someone who was not a good fit. As we used to say, 0 to 0 in 24 hours. I enlisted the assistance of the ACLU, and in June of 2005, they filed suit in Federal Circuit Court against the Library of Congress. In its legal papers, the library has claimed it didn't hire me because I would lose my colleagues in the special operations community. Ironically, these are precisely the people who have been second only to my family as my staunchest supporters. The library has claimed that it could not hire me because it was concerned I would lose my security clearance, yet it was recently renewed without issue. The library has claimed that it could not hire me because I would have no credibility with members, yet I testify in front of this committee here today. In summary, I hope that every day for the call to come from the library saying, we've made a tremendous mistake. I am ready and able to serve this country once again, and I look forward to do so. Thank you.